I'm in the theaters about to see Dune 2 Electric Boogaloo.
3 hours later.
Hey there, this is Ben Dunn, creator of Antarctic Press, Ninja High School, Warrior Nun, Marvel Mangaverse, and a ton of other stuff. But today I went to see Dune 2 Electric Boogaloo, and here are my thoughts on it. I will say that I am a big fan of the 1984 version. Despite its flaws, I found it to be a very entertaining and visually rich movie. Now, I did see Dune 1, and I thought that was okay, kind of meh, but a pretty good adaptation. And then it was like half of a movie, basically, because it ended on a cliffhanger. And this movie sort of resolves that cliffhanger, but not really. At least that's my impression. So I'm going to break this down into what I liked and what I didn't like about this movie, and give you my thoughts on it. Now, what I did like about it is that it wasn't boring. The story moved at a pretty steady pace. I was definitely involved in the storyline. I'm not sure how close it is to the original book. I never read the book. I know that's heresy, but what can I say? It was a big, long book, and I just really wasn't ready to spend that much time on it, to be honest. But why bother reading a book when the movie's out there, right? Everyone's, oh yeah, Ben, the book is better. The book is better. Says, I don't know about that. So, anyway, so it wasn't boring. I was engaged. Special effects were really good. I will say the acting was okay. Wasn't in my mind terrific, but it wasn't horrible either. So, bought into the characters. The characters were portrayed pretty well. Now, so those are the things I sort of liked. But I will say there were quite a few things that bothered me. I won't say I disliked them, but they kind of bothered me. And here's some of my thoughts on some of the things that bothered me. One of the things I was bothered by was the whininess of the main characters, Paul Atreides and Chani. Chani has a much bigger role in this one than in the 1984 version. It was almost like a teen romance sort of deal with a bunch of whininess going on. Yeah, I can't do this. Oh, I can't do that. Come on, really? This guy's supposed to be the leader of the Fremen, and he's like a big, whiny little whatever, So, and then Chinese like, oh yeah, she's a big supporter of Paul. Yeah, oh yeah, Paul, I support you 100%. Not. Well, yeah, I know she is in the 1984 version. She definitely was a minor role almost, but at least she was supportive of Paul. So that was one of the things. Also, I really could not understand a lot of the dialogue they were saying. I was trying to listen, and I will tell you the theater was not that packed. It was about maybe 8 or 10 other people in there, But for Monday, I guess that's okay. No problem. But it's just like everyone's whispering. It's like the water of life. Blah, 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 blah. It's like I really could have benefited from subtitles, and I thought that if there were subtitles, I probably would have enjoyed the story a lot more. But as it stood, I could barely hear half the stuff they were saying, there was a lot more expansion of the characters, especially Fade, and the princess, which were not the focus of the 1984 movie all that much. Because I don't know, I think this movie was nearly 3 hours long, and I think the 1984 version told more story, and they're scant 2.5 hours compared to this one, So it just I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I did think there was some callbacks to the original movie. Like there were definitely internal monologues that was not in the first one. There was no internal monologue in the first one, but for this one, only Lady Jessica had internal monologues. I mean, and I'm not sure can the sisterhood read each other's minds? I mean, it's like they were trying to talk through mind, reading or whatever. Is that something that's in the book? Because I was not aware that they could read each other's minds. But anyway, that's one of the things I noticed. Also the battle scenes were pretty good, pretty well done, I will say. But they seem to lack an epicness. It seemed to lack some sort of like a Lord of the Rings type of quality. I mean, even in the original 1984 version, it seemed more exciting. It seemed like even the Emperor himself got his hands dirty in that movie. And it just didn't seem like this one seemed all that epic. Like the fighting scene. First of all, I couldn't tell the armies apart. They were just like all wearing pretty much the same. And that's another thing that sort of bothered me. It was the drabbiness of it. It was very colorless. I mean, you might as well just film the whole thing in black and white, to be honest. It probably might have actually been better in black and white. Because everything just seemed drab and dull and colorless, and there just seemed no sense of style. There was no style in this movie. I mean, whoever was the person. I mean, not that I'm lambasting the people who worked on it. I'm sure they worked very hard and wanted to create as big a movie as they possibly could, and I applaud them for that. But in comparison to the 1984 version, it just seemed kind of, it seems like a plane, it seemed like it lacked any type of gravitas, basically, because the thing about I keep hating to compare the 1984 version to this one, but I just love the 1984 version so much, mainly because of the costumes, and the set designs, and everything else. It just irritates me that this movie didn't go a little bit, to try to give it some, some oomph, basically, some this way to show them, the show how, the epicness of this whole movie. It seemed very, it seemed kind of and I can understand they were trying to make it a little bit more realistic, more believable. But come on, this is a space fantasy opera in the far future. I mean, let's have some fun with it. Let's go out of the way to really show. And another thing that sort of bothered me is that the movie was not very toyetic. I mean, I would be hard pressed to buy any toy from this movie. It's like I know it's not aimed at kids for the most part, but I feel that if they were really going to go out of the way to make this sort of an adult science fiction movie, they should have just gone all out, and showed what it would really be like. But I mean, the performance was okay. Christopher Walken as the Emperor seemed, he's okay. He was kind of listless. He didn't seem very imperial to me. He seemed like somebody who was just like an old doddering man, just going around, I mean, in comparison to like Game of Thrones, where there was a lot of scheming going on and you believed the people in those roles. I just didn't buy him as the Emperor, the guy who was ruling the entire galaxy. And then, the Baron Harkonnen was, I mean, the way that, I'm not sure if this is what happened in the book, but the way Paul Atreides got his hands dirty by murdering the Baron. I mean, it just seemed like something. I mean, I can understand. Maybe that's what they were trying to go for. Maybe they're trying to portray Paul as this, whiny but psychotic, maniacal, killer, and and it's just. I mean, I just couldn't identify with it. Another thing that I also sort of didn't really, cotton to was the music. The music was very forgettable. Okay, I mean, I could not remember a single theme from that movie. There was a lot of opera, sort of like that, I guess, Middle Eastern type of sound that I guess is, popular over there, but here just didn't work. I mean, again, I think that the 1984 version definitely had a better soundtrack, and I kept playing that soundtrack in my mind in this movie, and it's like watching a James Bond movie without the iconic score on it, or watching the Star Wars movie without its iconic score. The thing about this movie is there was no iconic score in this movie, and then music plays such an important part in any movie. It just seemed kind of it seemed befuddling to me that they didn't spend a little bit more time creating a score that was really epic in scale, that people could really get into. I mean, hell, even Transformers had a better score than this movie, at least in my opinion. But anyway, those are my initial thoughts on Dune Part 2. It was there. I think in the long run, it's going to be a forgettable movie. I don't think people are really going to look back at it and say, "Oh my God, Dune 2 changed my life." No. I mean, it's a very meh movie. It's I hate to say it, but I don't think. I mean, I think the 1984 version gets better and better, in my opinion. It looks better. It feels better. I mean, short of the special effect. I mean, if 1984 Dune had the same level of special effects as this one had, it would be considered a classic masterpiece. I mean, it's just in my favorite in every way. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, I thought Dune 2 was okay. It was, there. And quite frankly, I don't know whether or not it's a candidate for rewatching over and over and over again. I mean, who knows? There's a lot of movies that I thought were kind of meh, at first, but I've grown to appreciate later on in life. But anyway, that's my thoughts on Dune Part 2. I mean, I'm just one guy with an opinion, so, whether you can take it at face value or not. So until next time, this has been Done signing off. I do want to remind you to subscribe and to like and to comment. I will say I'm not very good at returning comments, so I'll just be warned. But I do read them. So if you want to comment, I will guarantee that I will read them. So also, I have a campaign going on Kickstarter, the Bikini Sentai G Rangers, which is a fun little homage to Sentai superheroes, but with a cheesecake application to it. So until next time, this has been Done signing off.
Cindy, Candy, Princess the Bona and Dr. Boomer sent the Extinctables to attack our Climorama Clam Shack.
Okay, Sonia, tonight, you, me, and Candy will sneak into the Boomerland amusement park. We'll spy on them, but we'll have to be careful and look out for any Dominions or zombie hippies.
All right, my new top drone is ready to go, and Dr. Mohan can launch D-Robo if any giant monsters show up.
Princess Demona and I could succeed if it weren't for these meddling teenagers.
The world can be saved by steam. Go, G-Rangers!